Hey everyone. All right, gonna try to go through the study guide for you. Number one, 9x minus 13 is less than negative 58. Let's go ahead and solve this. So line down the middle, plus 13 on both sides, because that's the opposite. 9x is less than negative 45. I'm dividing by 9 on both sides, which is x is less than negative 5. No changing signs, no flipping. Open circle on negative 5 going to the left. Okay. Number two, solve the inequality. This one's a little harder. Line down the middle, minus 18 on both sides because that's the opposite. Okay. A over negative 3 is less than or equal to negative 4. Okay, now the rule is, the golden rule is to, when you divide or multiply by a negative, you must flip the sign. We are multiplying by negative 3 on both sides. So we'll be left over with A, and I'm going to write it over here. Now I have to flip this sign. See how it was less than or equal to, now it's greater than or equal to, and that's going to be 12. Closed circle, filled in circle going to the right. Okay? Number 3. Okay? This is a little bit more challenging of a problem, so I'm going to rewrite it down here and I'm going to work it out closer. 8, 5 minus 2y, greater than or equal to 15 minus 9, 2y plus 3. Okay. So the first step is I have to get rid of the parentheses. So I'm going to distribute. So the 8 goes to the 5 and the 8 goes to the negative 2y. Okay. So that's 40 minus 16y. Okay. Greater than or equal to. The 15 has to come down, but I'm distributing the negative 5 to both terms on the right. So this is going to be negative 18y minus 27. Combine like terms over here. I'm going to drop this down again. 15 minus 27 is negative 12 minus 18y. Now I can start to move stuff. I like to move the first thing I see. So I see a positive 40. So I'm going to subtract 40 on both sides, and I'm going to line it up with the other term that does not have a variable. Negative 16y is greater than or equal to negative 52 minus 18y. I know there's a lot of negatives here, but stay with me. Okay. Now I moved something from the left to the right, so the only thing I can do is move something from the right to the left. So I'm going to add 18y to both sides, and I have 2y is greater than or equal to negative 52, and we'll divide by 2 on both sides, and I'm going to be left with y is greater than or equal to negative 26. I'm not flipping the sign or anything like that. Okay, closed circle on negative 26, going to the right. Okay. Hard problem, right? Make sure you work it out. Number 4 and 5 are similar to each other. Okay. So before I want to do all this check mark boxes things, I want to solve this, right? So again, line down the middle, minus 19 on both sides, and I'm going to move over here. Negative 8x is less than negative 32. I am dividing by a negative, which means I have to flip the inequality sign. So I'm going to be left with x is greater than 4. So here's what we want to do. If 2 was x, is 2 greater than x? No. So that's false. Is 3 greater than x? No. Is 3 greater than 4? No. Is 4 greater than 4? No. 4 is not greater than 4. But 5 is, and 6 is. Now, if this was a greater than or equal to sign, then yeah, 4 would work, but it's not, so we can't do that, okay? Let's go ahead and solve this one over here. 38 minus m is less than or equal to 4, 2 minus m. I can't do anything over here, so I'm gonna bring that down. I can distribute the 4 to both things on the right though, so 8 minus 4m. Okay. I'm gonna move the first thing I see, which is the opposite, right? So minus 38 on both sides. Negative m is less than or equal to negative 30 minus 4m. Now I have to move this negative 4m by making it a positive on both sides. So this is a negative 1m. So we have 3m is less than or equal to negative 30. And I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides. So m is less than or equal to negative 10. Okay, now let's see. If negative 13 was substituted in here, is negative 13 less than or equal to negative 10? And that's true. Negative 12 is also less than negative 10. Negative 11 is also less than negative 10. Now, is negative 10 less than or equal to negative 10. It is equal to. Negative 9 isn't, though, because negative 9 is bigger than negative 10. Okay? All right. Number 6. Camille stopped at a grocery store to buy milk. While at the store, she spotted cans of soup on sale for $2.25 each. Okay. If the milk costs $3.50 and she could spend no more than $35, okay. $2.25 each. Every time you see the word each, it's X. Or per, it's X. Or every, it's X. So let's make a note on that. Per, each, or every means put an X value. Okay, that's important. All right, 2.25x plus 350 because the milk costs 350 as well. She can spend no more than $35. That means she cannot spend $36. She can spend 35. She can spend 34. Okay, so we're doing less than or equal to 35 because this means whatever this is, it cannot be bigger than 35. Now let's solve. Minus 350 on both sides. 225x is less than or equal to, okay, so that was 30.50. 31.50. Okay, we'll divide by 225 on both sides. I'm doing this without a calculator, hopefully it's right. X is less than or equal to 14. Okay, so my answer is A. Okay. Okay, I am not a fan of number 7. Let's skip number 7 for now. Number 7 is very, very, very wordy. Okay, we'll get there. Number 8, and really 2, interest of time. We've got not a lot of time here. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this over here. So 2 minus 3, m plus 7 is greater than 1 plus 4, m plus 9. Okay, so line down the middle. We'll distribute the negative 3. The negative 3 is what distributes. So 2 minus 3m minus 21 is greater than 1. The 4 distributes to both terms. Right? The number on the outside distributes. So plus 4m plus 36. Combine like terms. So 2 minus 21 is negative 19 minus 3m. 1 plus 36 is 37 plus 4m. Okay. I like to move the first thing I see. So we'll add 19 to both sides. So negative 3m is greater than 56 plus 4m. Minus 4m on both sides because I have to move this m over here. We do opposites, right? Negative 7m is greater than 56. I am now dividing by a negative. So I'm going to divide by a negative. So m is less than negative 8. Okay? So open circle on the negative 8. I know you can't see it because it's far away. Going to the left. Okay? All right. What's the solution to number 9? Negative 2x plus 12 is less than 18. Line down the middle. Minus 12 on both sides. It's the only thing I can do. Negative 2x is less than 6. I am dividing by a negative, so I have to flip the sign. So x is greater than negative 3. All right. Okay. We're going to solve for the inequality. 4 plus 3b is greater than 10. Okay. The only thing I can do is minus 4 on both sides. 3b is greater than 6. And I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides, and b is greater than 2. So b is 2. Okay? There's only a couple things we can do when we see that kind of inequality. All right. Solve and graph number 11. Okay. Well, this is pretty simple. I can only divide. There's no plus or minus done. So I'm going to divide by 16 on both sides. X is going to be less than negative 4. Okay. Open circle on negative 4. Going to the left, the arrow points that way. Okay. Okay, so we're going to solve these inequalities. We're going to match them. So the first one is, if I'm dividing by 2, then I'm just going to multiply by 2 to get rid of it. So we'll do multiply by 2 on both sides. Then u is less than or equal to 4. Okay, so that's here. I know you can't see it, I'm sorry. Okay. Let's go ahead. Let's solve an easier one, right? So I'm going to divide by 4 on both sides here. U is less than 5. Okay, cool. Was that a less than or equal to? Okay, here we go. Okay. This is just 5u, right? 4u plus 1u is 5u is greater than or equal to 35. We'll divide by 5 on both sides. So u is greater than 7. So the reason I did this was because this u is greater than 2 goes here, right? I saw a hard problem or a harder problem, and I wanted to skip it for easier ones. Okay? Just matching. or 13. Halfway done, looking good. Okay. So x over 4 plus 2.1 is less than 1.6 times x minus 2. Okay, line down the middle. I can't do anything over here, so x over 4 plus 2.1 is less than 1.6x minus 3.2. I can subtract 2.1 on both sides. X over 4 is less than 1.6x minus 5.3. Okay, I'm going to subtract. Maybe I shouldn't subtract. Let's go ahead and multiply by 4 on both sides. That'll make things a little bit easier. This is a nasty problem. X is less than 4 distributes to 1.6. So let's do it. Let's do it the long way because I don't have a calculator with me. Actually, let's get crazy. Let's get crazy. 6.4, okay? And then 5.3 times negative 4. Negative 21.2. This is a nasty problem, guys. Minus 6.4x on both sides. This is a 1x. 1x minus 6.4x is negative 5.4x is less than negative 21.2. Really gross problem. Okay. So we're going to get kind of a weird fraction, or a weird decimal here. I'm dividing by a negative, right? I'm going to divide by negative 5.4 on both sides. So I'm going to get x is greater than, and let's just call it 3.9. 3.9. Okay, so that'll be my answer to that. We don't have to graph it because there's no graph present. Okay. Now let's get into some equations. These should go faster. Equations are also on this test, right? So it's the same process, but we don't have to worry about flipping signs. So on this one, minus 10 on both sides, and then we have x equals 3. Pretty easy stuff. When we have equal signs, there are no inequalities, no flipping signs, nothing like that, okay? Here, solve this equation, plus 10 on both sides. X equals 14, right? Rock and roll. I'm going to skip number 17 for the interest of time. I didn't realize I was at 12 minutes already. Okay, so we're going to skip number 17 for now. You will not see anything like that on your test. Okay, all right. For number 18, all I want to do is justify the steps. So here's my original equation. Okay, determine what the final answer should be in the fourth step. Okay, so the first step was what was given to you. So I don't think it said anything here. So to get from the first step to the second step, look what's missing. That 1/4 is gone. But we know that 1/4 times 20 is 5, right? So that was distributive property. So we distributed, and that's step 1. Or step 1 and step 2. Then we added 7 to both sides. That would be our second step. And then we divided by 5 on both sides. Where's that? So this is our third step. And 20 divided by 5 is 4, which means our answer is 4. Okay. You will have something like this on the test, but it's more like just a drag and drop matching for which step, what steps should be in order. So on the test, it would be just reordering these steps, these ones, okay? All right, this one we need to do, right? So 3 over 4x plus 20 equals 29. First step is to subtract 20 on both sides. 3/4 x equals 9. Now, what we have to do is we have to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. We have to flip the fraction. Multiply by 4/3 on both sides. That cancels everything here. Then we have x equals, and this is just going to be, what, 36 over 3, which is 12. Your calculator will do that for you. Okay. Probably going to bypass some of them. Oh, okay. So here is more of what you'll see on the test. Okay. All right. So I have this problem. Put the steps in order from first to last. Like, what would we do first? Okay. So there's a couple of things we could do. B equals 9 over 2 is the final answer. So that would be step 4. That's the final answer, right? Distribute 4 to everything in the parentheses. That's our first step. That's what we want to do first, right? Okay. And if we do that, we have 4b minus 12 equals 6. Okay. Then we want to add 12 to both sides, which is the third step, or second step. And then clearly, this step has to be third, because once I do that, I have 4b equals 18, and I would divide by 4 on both sides, and b is 9 over 2, okay? So you're gonna have to reorder those steps, okay? Let's take a look at 21. What did Chris do? Chris says 16 equals 12 minus 6x and 4 equals negative 6x. So what did he do first? Well, it looked like he subtracted 12 on both sides because that's what we're supposed to do. So he subtracted 12 from each side of the equation, right? Because that 12 is not there anymore, right? So that makes sense. Okay, a couple more. Right? Okay. All right, number 22. What is the best first step to solve? So let's take a look here. Remember, I don't want to do anything with the a first, but I've got to get rid of that 15. So we're going to subtract 15 on both sides. So what does that look like? We're subtracting 15, and it looks like it's here, minus 15 on both sides. So D is my answer. That's it, right? Okay. I'm going to skip 23 again because I'm already almost at 16 minutes. You will not see anything like that on your test. Let's go to 24, though. That looks good. So in this one, I'm just going to subtract 13 on both sides. We might have even had a problem like this in class. X is going to equal 22 minus 13, which is 9. Easy peasy, okay? 25, last one. Let's go ahead and put these steps in order. So what would we do first? I'm distributing that 3 to both terms. So distribute 3 to everything. That's step 1. Once I do that, I have 3x minus 9 equals 6. Next step is to add 9 to both sides. So that's second. We know the answer has to be the last step. So divide both sides by 3 needs to be step 3, right? Because if I had this problem, then I have 3x equals 15. I'm dividing by 3 on both sides, right? All right. Hopefully that helps, guys. See you tomorrow.